Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today's a very exciting day because I have the opportunity to drive this badass car right here. So before we get into today's video, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I do all kinds of cool stuff in the garage here. This is my shop. I have a 1993 Toyota Supra, LS3 swap 350Z, and I got a 2016 Mustang GT with a supercharger on it. This is the engine that I'm actually currently building for the Toyota Supra. As you can tell, I really like the garage here and I really like to spend my time out here. Cars are a huge passion of mine. So if you guys like anything that you see here, including this, obviously, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share the video, turn on those bell notifications. Let's talk more and get into the C8 Z06 Corvette. I was not a fan of these cars when they first came out, the Stingray version, but let me tell you that the Z06 has completely changed my perception and my look for this car completely. So this is the Z07 package, all carbon interior. As you can see here, the interior is just beautiful on it. We got carbon in the seats, full carbon dash, steering wheel, everything on the door cards, the carbon ceramic brakes. I believe it's 3 inches wider than the previous model of this C8, which is the Stingray. Also, as if everybody knows, these things sound like a Ferrari. We're gonna get in that too as well and go for a little drive. Get this thing warmed up. Of course, you guys, the first thing you're gonna wanna hear is the exhaust. This car produces 670 horsepower and 460 foot-pounds of torque, and it revs out to 8,600 RPM. What more could you ask for? The flat plane crank in it and the design of the headers absolutely sounds unreal. It sounds so exotic. They did such a great job with the engine on it. This is the LT6. One of the things that the Z06 has, like I was saying, it's a lot wider too. You got your nice winglets here, huge ducts in each side of this here, your big chin splitter. This car looks so much wider than the previous Stingrays. You got a huge vent in here, and as we come around the back, you got a massive wing back here too, and it's a pretty unique shape. As you can see here, it kind of curves down in the middle. Engine in the back, obviously, for the C8 platform. One thing that I must say with the C8s, I still think that they have to work on one more thing. In my opinion, they have to work on their wheel fitment a little bit more. Definitely better on the Z06 than it was with the Stingray. They definitely need to pop that out a little bit more flush. The front's good, but they need to pop out the back just a little bit more. Give it that a little bit more of aggressive look, in my opinion. That's about the only thing that, so far, I would think that needs to be changed on this car. Other than that, let's hop in it. Let's give it a few revs and give you that sound of the car. So stepping into this car, it's actually a button to open the door, which is kind of cool. They've done that with their C7s as well. That's just a push button, and then there's an actuator in the door that kind of opens it. Gives you more of that luxury look. A little closer look in the interior here. Just absolutely unreal. And I thought, you know, for a 90s car, if looking at this, everything's kind of dedicated to the driver in this car. This thing is even more so dedicated to the driver. If you look at it, and I've been a passenger in this car too as well, if you're on the passenger side, you literally have no control over anything in this car, which is kind of cool because it's all dedicated to the driver. Full digital display on the front here, full digital display over here. I really like how that wraps around. Like I was saying, all carbon fiber here. This has the lift system in it too, so it lifts the front end whenever you are in an area where it needs to be lifted up, or if a tight curb or whatever, so you don't scrape your front end. Alcantara on the side here and on the roof. Carbon on the paddle shifters too. That's a very nice touch. Really like the shape of this steering wheel as well. It's kind of nice having the carbon here because if you're anything like me, you've seen steering wheels before where they get pretty gross on the leather or Alcantara. I'm not a fan of Alcantara on the steering wheel. It just, in my opinion, it collects a lot of dirt and it's very hard to keep clean. But in this case, it's easy to wipe down. You keep your hand here or wherever you're working, and then you just have a leather side here. Easy to keep clean as well. Okay, let's get this thing started. So it's kind of cool here. You got all your camera settings. If you click this button, you can see your front, your bird's eye view there. These cars aren't really the greatest to see out of. They're very tight and compact, so blind spots are definitely a thing in it. But also we got, since we do have the engine in the back there, it might be a little bit hard to see through there with a traditional rear view mirror. So it's actually a camera at the back, and it's displaying it on a video interface up on the mirror, which is kind of a cool feature as well. So we're gonna go through the drive modes here. Select through here on this dial. So you got track, you got sport, and as you can see, it changes the interface there, and then this is just street. So we're gonna obviously put it in track mode because that opens up the exhaust valves and you get that wonderful flat plane crank LT6 engine sound. At 8,600 RPM, nothing can get better than that. Sitting in the car, it's super comfortable. The seats are very tight. I love the inlay of the carbon fiber on these seats. That's probably one of my favorite parts about these seats here. We got heated and cooled seats, so let's go for a drive. Shifts from the dual clutch transmission, you can't beat them. This is an 8-speed transmission in this car, so when you're cruising, you can bring it right up to 8 there, and you can shut your valves, have a nice relaxing drive home, and you won't even hear the exhaust. The car is super comfortable, it's super smooth. You got active suspension on the modes that you change it to, so if you go to track or street, it adjusts the dampening on suspension, which is a very cool feature on the fly. Have you ever seen videos of people going just past the break-in period? It actually, the rev limiter goes up and you can watch it climb up to 8,600, which is pretty cool, right when you hit that break-in period. So we got full potential in this car when we're doing this review here. See if we can get those downshifts going. Oh my gosh, that is the best feeling ever. This car sounds so good. Woo! This thing is no slouch. We'll do the goosebump check here. You can see them there. Kicked out a little bit. Traction control quick kicked in there. Wow, this car feels super smooth. The power band on it is so linear, and you can just hear that sound. It just right from the back. It sounds so different than hearing everything from the front. I've never ever been in a car before with the engine in the back, so this is a whole new thing for me. Oh yes! Those shifts are so crispy. Like I said, I'm in manual mode right now, and I feel like I got the shifts down pat. I know what it revs out to, so I'm getting it right at that point. Feels like I'm in a Ferrari right now. I sat in a Ferrari, but I've watched so many videos and heard so many Ferraris online and everything, and the sound of this is just so equivalent to that. The handling on this thing is just ridiculous. It is so tight. There's absolutely no body roll whatsoever when I'm taking a corner like that. You got super sticky tires on it from Michelin. Once you get them up to temp, this thing absolutely will dominate on the track. I could just feel it. It is so predictable. Like I was saying with the cockpit in this car, everything is so directed at you, which is the coolest feeling ever. You can reach everything. It's all dedicated right to the driver. The interior they did such an excellent job with the dash. Everything's got carbon on it. They just did a fantastic job with this. The way this car puts down the traction, or puts down the power, is extremely good. Having that engine in the back, a little bit more weight on the rear tires, you have no problem with putting down 670 horsepower in this car. I've been in some really fast cars before, and something just feels different about the power band with this naturally aspirated LT6. We're in first gear right now. Oh, those shifts are so quick. I can't get over how quick a dual clutch transmission can shift. There's a heads-up display. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's reflecting off of the windshield right now, and it tells me what gear I'm in, the speed I'm going, and there's shift lights that are built into it too, which is awesome because it keeps everything, your eyes on the road. If you're on the track, you obviously want to be paying attention to lines and what lines you're taking. Everything's right there for you. GM has a very famous way of bringing their sports cars to production with coming out with a Stingray first. They do it with all the Corvette. Then they come out with the Z06, and then they come out with the ZR1. I'm very, very curious to see what they do with the ZR1 version of this car. I hear they're going to be boosting it. I'm not sure if they're doing twin turbos or supercharged, but either way, this naturally aspirated platform with the LT6 feels rock solid. Oh, that sound is incredible. The second to first downshift is the best noise ever. You got a few pops in there and crispy downshifts. This is all stock exhaust too, which is very, very impressive. I got so many thumbs up in this car already because not many people have these cars in our area, which is the coolest thing ever. Everybody knows it's a Z06, which is the best part. If only I had a tunnel to go through in my area with this car, would just complete my whole review with this here, but unfortunately we don't. It gets up to the speed limit extremely fast. It's instantly. The combination of the horsepower, the grip, and the dual clutch transmission, there's no shortage of G-forces that are in this car. Probably one of my favorite parts about this car, the exhaust and how it sounds, the dual clutch transmission, and the fact that when I look in my rear view mirror, all I see is this big giant wing that comes off the back of this car. I'm curious to see when they come out with the ZR1, if it's just going to be something ridiculous back there, because I know when they came out with the ZR1 with the C7s, the wing was absolutely insane on those cars. So I'm curious to see what they come out with on that. I know they're going to kill it. We're back at the house now. Overall, I have nothing bad to say about this car. other than the small thing about the wheel fitment in the back, but that's it. They have absolutely dialed this car completely. It handles really good. The power is there when you need it. The power band's super smooth. The shifts are quick, super tight. It'll put a smile on anybody's face if you get a ride in one of these. If you ever have a chance to drive a Z06 C8, before you put your opinion on the C8 platform, just drive one first. I promise you, it'll change your mind. That's gonna conclude today's video, guys. Thanks for rolling around with me here. Like I said, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button if you wanna see more of this. I'll be doing some more car reviews here because I've definitely got the connections to do that. So next up, we'll do the C7 Z06 review and we'll go from there. But as of for that, guys, stay tuned for the new videos coming out. Talk to you soon.